everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been quite some time and since I've uploaded, but here I am again, and I just wanted to introduce myself again to any new faces that might be here today. My name is Yosha, and I am a recent medical school graduate that's currently in the residency match process. I really enjoy traveling, reading, and sharing things that I've read. I'm currently living in New York City and working with some amazing primary care physicians in managing our award-winning website, www.covid19si.com, so go check it out. I decided that I was going to be trying something new on my channel, because why not? And I've been working on some really great content for you guys. So today is the first video that's going to be up for a new series called Let's Talk Thursdays, which will be every Thursday, and we're going to talk about a topic that might be of interest to you. It was definitely interesting to me. So today I have my super cool Harry Potter mug, and it's filled with some warm tea, and I'm on my comfy couch. So grab your warm beverage of choice and get comfortable, and let's get started. So in today's segment of Let's Talk Thursdays, we're going to be talking about key vaccine terminology that would be helpful to know, and this information was released by the American Medical Association. All links are in the description box down below if you would like further information. The article is Essential Terms That Doctors and Patients Need to Know About Their COVID-19 Vaccines. Learning and understanding this terminology will give you a better understanding of what they're talking about when you read about vaccine deployment and distribution. And it's natural that when you're reading about these vaccinations, you want to know what's the approval process, how does this work? So we're going to be going through a little bit of that today. So let's get started. The information here was primarily contributed by Dr. Sandra Freihofer, and she is a member of the AMA Board of Trustees. So let's get started. Okay, so the first term that we're going to be talking about is clinical development. So clinical development comes up quite a bit, and it's pretty helpful just to go through the different phases. So the first phase that we're going to be talking about is preclinical. So what preclinical means is that it involves animals, okay? So after you're done preclinical, you move on to phase 1. So when you have phase 1, you're testing groups of 20 to 100 people, and basically what you want to see is if there's any side effects, and you want to figure out what dose you can use. So when you move on to phase 2, what you're doing is that now you're involving hundreds of volunteers. So during this phase, what you want to do is you want to look at the side effects, and you want to see how the dose impacts the response. So that's what phase 2 is. Then you move on to phase 3. So phase 3 involves thousands of volunteers. According to Dr. Peter Marks, who is the FDA's Director for Biologic Evaluation and Research, right now there's several vaccine manufacturers that are in this phase. So there are 3 potential ones that have a multi-dose vaccine, and they're involving 30,000 people. And there's another one that's like a one-stop shop, one vaccine dose that involves 60,000 volunteers. So you might be wondering, why do you have so many people involved? Well, the reason is you want to make sure that there is enough data points so that you can find out if your vaccine is actually safe and efficacious. And then we move on to step 4. So step 4 is the post-marketing phase. What happens in this phase is that the FDA will require several post-marketing studies. So what they're trying to do in this phase is trying to see, is this actually safe, and are there any potential adverse side effects that we need to be aware of for this vaccine? Move on to the next term. The next term that we're going to be talking about is emergency use authorization. What is that? So emergency use authorization, that's not the same as FDA licensure. For the FDA to give a product a license of approval, it has to be safe and effective. And what they mean by that is that it has to be at least 50% effective. So if they say that a vaccine has been given emergency use authorization, that's not really exactly the same as having FDA licensure. Let's move on to the next term, vaccine distribution. So initially, as we can imagine, there's going to be limited doses and quantities of vaccines that are going to be available. So the AMA and the CDC and all these different groups have come together to talk about who gets the first batch of vaccines. So they've come to a general consensus that the first batch of vaccines will include a group of healthcare professionals, essential workers, people with pre-existing medical conditions, and anyone that is above the age of 65. So the next term is coverage, vaccine coverage. So this is a pretty important question for people in the United States because people don't really want to be breaking the bank and having economic burden while trying to get preventative care for the vaccine. So under the CARES Act, the insurance companies and insurance policymakers are required to cover any ACIP preventative care service as it pertains to COVID-19 within 15 days of its recommendation. So that was created in order to alleviate some of the economic burden or any economic burden that may occur. Next term we're going to be talking about is vaccine safety monitoring. So it's completely understandable that there's going to be concerns that are raised regarding the safety of this vaccine given the fact that it was pushed out so quickly. So that's something that they've acknowledged, and according to Dr. Sandra Feihoffer, what they're going to be doing is implementing this plan called VSAFE. What does it stand for? VSAFE stands for Vaccine Safety for Essential Workers. So this is primarily an active surveillance program that is going to be implemented for the first batch of people that receive the vaccine. So what happens in this program is that it is a software-based text-to-web, and email-to-web survey that monitors patients every single day for 6 weeks to see how they're feeling, and so that way they get real-time information on how the vaccine is doing. So that's how they're going to make sure that the safety standards have been upheld. And after that, it's going to be the usual safety protocols that all vaccines. So the last term that we're going to be talking about is herd immunity. Now, this is a term that comes up quite a lot, and I'm considering making a whole separate video on this topic. If you're interested, please comment down below. So just a basic definition, herd immunity is when 70 to 90% of a population is immune to a given virus or disease through infection or vaccination. So the thing is that even if herd immunity is achieved, it might not really be uniform. So you could have 70 to 90% of a population that has been immune to the virus, but this may not be 70 to 90% uniformly across the board. You could have little pockets that are immune and little pockets that are not immune. So that's not an indicator. Dr. Marks said that in order for us to achieve herd immunity, a vaccine needs to be distributed to 70 to 90% of the population, and the vaccine itself has to be 70 to 90% effective. As of right now, there's little evidence to suggest that the spread of coronavirus is going to stop before it hits 50% of the population. We already have 200,000 deaths, and we can't really risk any more people dying. So yeah, I hope that this information was useful and helpful in some way, and these are the key terms that are helpful to know when you're trying to develop a better understanding when you're reading articles about vaccine and vaccine approval and manufacturing of vaccine. Thank you so much for watching, and give this video a thumbs up and comment down below on if there's any topics that you want further information on, if you're interested in, and we can do it for our next video. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video and you do enjoy my content, please like and subscribe to my channel. Stay positive and test negative. Goodbye!